Welcome to my instant match reaction to the Aston Villa 2, Tottenham Hotspur 1 FA Cup, fourth round tie. And by the scoreline, you'd think, oh, that might have been close. No. Tottenham should have lost that 6-7-1, honestly. I don't know what to say, really. I'm wary of just repeating things that I said after the Liverpool game. Absolutely just outfought, outnumbered, outmuscled, outdesired, especially in midfield. Just embarrassing how easy it is to play through Tottenham's midfield. Matthias Tell was started wide left. He didn't look like he wanted to be wide left. And then we put him down the middle. We gave him one chance and he scored a brilliant goal right at the end there. So that doesn't look great on Ange, I'm afraid. I don't know. I don't know for how long more you can use injuries as excuses. I've said it during the watch along today. I'll say it now. You cannot tell me that these players on the pitch are more, are less, I don't know how to say it best, but basically Plymouth beat Liverpool today. And obviously Liverpool had a reserve. But you can't tell me that those 11 on the pitch today, no matter how much football they've played or how many injuries they've had or whatever, you can't tell me that they're not in as good condition as those Plymouth players. And it just shows that there is, yes, I will agree, the players are, some of them playing in the red zone. Some of them are really fatigued. But, it's just not good enough tactically. It should not be, no matter who you've got on the pitch, possible to literally drive 3 double-decker buses down the middle of central midfield time and time and time and time again. And 6,000 Spurs fans went to that game at Villa today, up to Birmingham. And honestly, it was like a training game for Aston Villa. It was like a training game. It was like a testimonial, just knocking it about. And in the first half especially, the only time Tottenham ever got near the ball, all they could do was foul Aston Villa players because they were on the wrong side and they couldn't keep up with them. And it's end of days. It's end of days. I cannot remember for the life of me because I try and block these things out. Was it before Tim Sherwood came as interim manager that we lost a couple of games like 5-0 to Liverpool and Chelsea maybe? Or was it when Tim Sherwood was in charge? I think it might have been when he was in charge. But just that feeling of end of days. And I don't think you can say that those players are really playing for Ange. I don't know. Maybe I just don't get it. I just do not get it. And it's the inevitability of all this that hurts so much. It really is. It's just embarrassing. And again, a situation where all the opposition fans are just laughing at Tottenham. And now we're 14th in the league and we're in the last 16 of the Europa League and that's it. And I'm sorry, it is a huge, huge risk, if you ask me, to say we are going to wait for Ange Postecoglou to get the first team players back. And we think he's going to do it in 2-legged ties in the Europa League, because tactically he's being found out. I don't care whether the players are young. I don't care whether some of them are tired. If some of them are tired and not able to put in 100%, you play young academy players. And at least then they'll run about. But at the moment, the way that midfield was, certainly in the first half, he shored it up a bit in the second half, but even once Bissouma and then Sarr had come on, they were still just getting in down the middle of the pitch time and time again. And I'm sorry, even if you have to say to 2 academy midfielders, just sit there and block the space, then you do it so that you're not just embarrassed over and over and over again. I know that there's nuance to this. And I know we've got injuries. And someone on Twitter made a good point earlier, which is, look, Liverpool made 10 changes today and they lost to Plymouth. And Spurs have basically been playing with 10 changes for months. I get it. I get it. But my God, I think a lot of Spurs fans are getting their wish at the moment, which is they've been saying and slagging off Levy for years for how quickly he sacks managers. Well, he's not doing it this time and he's sticking with Ange. And a lot of people in the comments on the watch along I've been doing still saying he won't sack Ange Postecoglou and he shouldn't sack Ange Postecoglou. Well, He's not sacking him at the moment. And I'm sorry, but I just think if you think that A, those players are going to come back and stay fit, and B, suddenly we were going to magically be brilliant in two-legged ties in the Europa League, I just do not have the evidence to back that up. And if you have the evidence to back that up, please do send it to me, because I don't. And obviously, that's not to suggest I have an answer. I don't know. I do not know. All I'd say is I do feel like something has to change. I don't feel like it can continue tactically like that, where we're just, we're one side or the other. So against Brentford, we were like, well, we're just going to sit on our 18-yard box, and we worked hard and we got lucky. Against Liverpool, we tried that again and we were just given an absolute lesson. Today, it seemed like he'd said to them specifically, don't do that. So leave ginormous holes in central midfield and get your midfielders caught ahead of the ball. We are such a one-paced team. What I will say about the squad building, there is no pace in it. I thought Tell, who like I said, brilliant finish for his goal, by the way, but for me, not a wide forward. He didn't look happy there, didn't want to play there. Good finisher, play him in the 9. He played Son there, but he's not quick, Tell. He's not quick. Like, he's not slow, but he's not a pace merchant. And we are such a one-paced team. Straight down the middle of the team, completely one-paced out wide. And all those Villa players, they've got a bit of pace about them. And so they were just breaking past us so easy. Now, listen, I'm purposely trying not to talk about Kinski's mistake, really. It was a mistake. I'd be wrong to do a match reaction without referencing it. In the first minute, he threw one in. I spoke before his debut. I said, I fear he's going to do an Erik Torsvedt. Erik Torsvedt, who came in the 90s for Spurs from Scandinavia, threw one in on his debut. And actually, in the first few games, Kinski's been very impressive to me. But today, first minute, we let them in behind Pedro Porro, as we did time and time again. And Ramsey just has a pretty meek left foot shot from about 16 yards. It's going straight at Kinski, and just a tiny bit of swerve ends up hitting his hip instead of his hands and goes in behind him. After that, I have to say he made 2 really good saves from one-on-ones. He looked a bit shaky, but I feel sorry for him. But once again, just time and time again through central midfield and then the ball out left. It must be like players at teams who are coming up against Spurs just must lick their lips. Just, play a couple of passes through midfield you'll be in, lay it out to the wide left forward, and you can have a free shot. No one defends. Porro's not there. I honestly don't know where we go from here. I really don't. I'll say it again. There's nothing I would want more than for Ange Postecoglou to stay in his job, get his players back, prove us all wrong, and win the Europa League and get us into the Champions League. But how can you honestly look at this season and say that that is likely? You cannot play in the Premier League or at Premier League level in cup competitions and be as naive down the middle of the field and in behind your fullbacks as Tottenham Hotspur currently are. And it's over and over and over again. And that is why I fear for Ange Postecoglou, as well as the fact that he can't get his players out on the pitch. This week coming is the first week where we don't have a game midweek. And so Ange will probably, if he has a chat with Daniel Levy, say, give me this week so I can, get into the players and coach them Ange ball again or whatever, because we've only been recovering for so many weeks. I heard it. It might have been one of you guys in the comments or someone I spoke to after the last game saying something that actually really resonated with me, which is I've been saying a lot, and I'm happy to admit if I'm wrong. I've been saying a lot that I feel like maybe Ange is overtraining them, and that's why there are so many injuries. But somebody said, but we had Pochettino before and Conte before, who are both known as like the hardest trainers in the world. Pochettino famously making them stand on hot coals, and Conte telling them to like eat grass. It's all about training. And Pochettino and his fitness team saying, we train them so hard when it's not match day so that they don't feel anything during match days. Maybe, and it was someone else who gave this suggestion. I can't remember who, but thank you. And it might be true. I don't know. But maybe Ange is under-training them. He asked them to be absolutely relentless on match days, but they're kind of under-trained up for it and their muscles can't deal with it. I do not know. I don't know. I'm not a medical expert. I'm really not. But, I'm trying to think, why are we at this? I cannot think of another club who've got themselves in this situation where the players who go on the pitch are not fit enough to play the style which the manager wants them to. They're also not tactically disciplined enough to play a more defensive style regularly against better clubs. And there's no option for another manager to come in because they've got so many players injured. I just, it's literally head in hands. I really don't know where we go from here. We were all waiting for this week, and all the reports coming out of the squad from reputable sources like The Athletic. Spurs will give Big Ange Postecoglou the week of the Carabao Cup semi-final second leg and the Aston Villa game. Well, we've lost those 2 games 6-1 on aggregate, and we've been embarrassed. And both teams' fans are laying. And these are players who are all on at least £50,000 a week, even the young ones. I'm sorry, if he doesn't get sacked, then he is the only manager in the history of the Premier League who hasn't got sacked for being in such a dilemma at such a big club. And that's all I can really think to say. Like, if Ange doesn't get sacked now, then it is solely because, I think, of the Spurs fan base who have said down the years, Levy has sacked managers too early and at the wrong time. And the irony of it now is I think probably those players do need a new voice. They do need someone in there who's done it to some degree at the top level, who's going to be able to say to them, I'm sorry, boys, but we're not in the position where we can play this kind of style. And I'm going to bring you a style that is going to allow you to get some results whilst we wait for those players to come back. But do I know who that is? I don't. Is it Terzic? I don't know. People don't like his pragmatic style of play, but he got Dortmund to the Champions League final last year. So who knows? I'm sorry it's been such a depressing instant match reaction, but there is nothing to be except depressed. The literal only positive, tell a good finish. But even that, I'm afraid, is a bad look for Ange because it took him 70-odd minutes to put him at number 9. And then we made him one chance and he scored a goal. And Sonny missed an open goal earlier in the game. Thanks for watching the instant match reaction. Press the like button. Do subscribe to the channel. Cheers.